We all have our past, right? We all have our, you're just seeing the latest, greatest version of me. And anybody else that you see up here. It's real easy to project success on me because you see the way I am now. You have no idea what I've been through, right? You have some idea now, and just like everybody else, right? So the fact that that's what the boardroom is about, right? We want you to feel comfortable being vulnerable because that's the only way stuff actually gets fixed. If you're posing and pretending like sometimes you are when you're back home, then it makes it really challenging. You got to pull back the layers of the onion, man, to get the help you need. And I can tell you there is never a guy that epitomizes that more than Ryan Stewman. Ryan and I met at a mastermind several years ago. The guy came in, and I can tell you he was a shell of the man he is today. This is a guy that back then had all the potential in the world, but just wasn't quite there yet. Fast forward a few years later, and he is on top of the world. He has become a social media phenomenon. He has become a very dynamic business owner that hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are listening to on a regular basis and getting insight and gaining knowledge from him. He is truly bending the universe to his will, and he is creating massive, massive impact in a lot of people's lives out there. And it is my distinct honor to bring him up here. But before we do that, I want everybody on their feet, and I want to give him amazing energy. And please welcome to stage, Mr. Ryan Stewman.
Yo! What's up, man?
What's up, baby? Good to see you.
What's up, everybody? Now, look, we're going to start this off different. I'm a different speaker. I'm not a professional speaker like Kent and Ed and everything else, okay? So we're going to start this off different. I know we are just a few minutes away from going to lunch. I know right now your mind's starting to, stray and all that good stuff. Man, I'm hungry. What they going to have in the VIP room? All those good things. But knock that shit off for a minute, okay? Put your phones down. And I'm not asking, I'm saying, put your phones down, put them in your purse, put them to the side, flip them upside down, because what I'm about to say is going to change your fucking life. And if you're in social media land, if you're sending emails out, if you're doing something like that, I might say the right combination of words that unlock the ideas that have been stowed away in your mind forever that let you become a millionaire, but here you are taking selfies on Instagram or whatever. I don't want that to happen. I don't want you to fall a victim to that. All I ask is that you can be in the room for the next 30 to 45 minutes, and I will. My promise to you is I will change your life if you let me. Is that cool? Is everybody okay with that? Y'all sound real fucking excited. Is everybody okay with that? All right. All right, if you're going to play all in and you're going to pay attention for the next 30 to 45 minutes, raise your hand. Come on, raise your hand. You, sir. All right, come on. Like I said, we're going to play all in here, all right? So, wasn't that long ago that I was at an event just like this that Kent had thrown. I received this digital card in the mail, and when I opened it up, it was like a video. And that was so ahead of its time. At the time, it's check this out. It's like a video invitation. I can't not go to this. So I went to the boardroom and spent my last dollar to get there. And while in that room, I was invited by Los and Kent to come have dinner with them at Eddie V one night. So it was day one of the event. I meet these guys. I happen to sit at a table with Chantel and Adam Lyons and Roland Frazier. Of everybody Kent could have put at that table next to me, he was hooking me up. He sat me next to some amazing people, and they invited me to dinner at Eddie V's that night. Now, I'll remind you, I don't have any money for Eddie V's. That shit's expensive. You ever been there? $100 steaks, right? And I told you my last dollar went to the hotel to stay at. Matter of fact, I stayed at a cheap hotel down the street because I couldn't afford to stay at this hotel at the time. It wasn't that I was not working in my business, but I made that final dollar investment in myself despite what? I'd gone through a divorce and was going through a rough time. Well, at that dinner that night, something, I don't know what the hell it was, caused me to break out in hives like nothing. I thought I was growing fucking horns in my head. That's how big the knots were on the back of this. Ended up going to an emergency room, which, by the way, if you just spent your last dollar on a hotel room, they're going to want some more of that, just by the way. And I had to go to the emergency room because I couldn't make it stop. And I don't know what I was allergic to. About 3 weeks later, it just went away. Doctors couldn't tell me what I was allergic to. But not only did I spend my last dollar to get at that event, I also spent an additional $600 going to the emergency room trying to figure out what was wrong with me. That was just four years ago in 2014. Today I flew here first class. I live in a mansion. I have a McLaren. I have a Rolls Royce. I have a beautiful wife, beautiful family. I have a $6 million portfolio of real estate. My company's valued at over $25 million. And I've done all that in a short period of time with what I'm about to share with you today. Okay, so it wasn't nowhere where you're at right now financially. It wasn't that long ago that I was in that position as well. My life's been full of ups and downs. If your life's been full of ups and downs, raise your hand. Some of you are lucky motherfuckers that you ain't got your hand up, right? Just wait, because the first time it punches you in the mouth, right, your perspective will shift a lot. Quick background on me, and then we're going to get right into this. I have zero excuses. I came here to win, but everything on this planet has tried to keep me from winning. You ever feel that way? Like you know you got it in you, you want to win, you know that you're doing the right things, but it just keeps falling apart around you. I was adopted at 7 years old. I dropped out of school in the 8th grade. Started selling drugs like most adopted drop out of school people did by the time I was 16 years old. By the time I was 19, I died of an overdose and had to be brought back to life by the EMT only so that they could arrest me, charge me with possession of cocaine and a submachine gun. Who knew? Like, I didn't, shit, I didn't get the notice in the mail that said that was illegal, apparently. Honestly, my first money-making opportunity was not in real estate. It was in drugs, and I failed miserably. I did 2 years in prison, got out, got my life together, got recruited into the financial world, which is weird as hell considering my colorful background, but did very good at that. Built my net worth back up to over $1 million, or for the first time up to over $1 million, only to have the local police come kick my door and think I'm selling drugs again, and I wasn't. But damn it, I like guns, and I had some guns. Back to federal prison for me, another 15 months. 10 years ago, in July of 2008, I walked out of federal prison. I walked in a millionaire. I walked out with $25 to my name because that's what they give to indigent inmates. And in 10 years, in just a few months, I've come to speak on this stage, and I've changed my whole life. I have built an entire brand. I've built companies that are doing multiple 7 and 8 figures per year, all within a short period of time. But I have every excuse of why I should be a homeless person. I have every excuse of why I should go, well, I'm a 2-time felon, I shouldn't be up here. Or I'm a 2-time felon, we don't get to make money. I come from this neighborhood, we don't grow up to do these things. I have every excuse running through my head too, but there's a voice that's louder in my head that says, fuck it, do it anyway. That's what you need. You need that voice that says, whatever you're scared of, your insecurities, you need a louder voice that says, fuck it, do it anyway. So there's 2 things that Kent's talked about yesterday and today really hard that I'm going to help you guys out with, and this is what's going to change your life. While a lot of people get up here and they will give you like the 50,000-foot view, and you're like, okay, I need to go make 100 offers on Monday, right? How do I do it? What do I do? That's what I'm here for today. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. So some of you are some damn liars. You raised your hand yesterday when Kent said, who promises to make 100 offers on Monday? And some of you raised your hand knowing you fucking lying anyway. Right? You raise your hand and say, it sounds good, but there ain't no way I'm doing this shit. Right? Raise your hand if that's you, to be honest. Be honest. You raise your hand and you have no clue and you really don't intend to do it. I appreciate your honesty, sir. I really do. I got something for you. I appreciate that. I'm going to fix this for you, though. The reason why you don't think that you'll actually be able to do it is you don't know what to do. Right? It's like we understand the concept of things, but we need somebody to break it down into actionable micro actions that we can take to make it actually become a reality. That's what I'm going to give you today. There's 2 things that Kent talked about yesterday that are paramount if you want to become successful, if you want to become wealthy. Okay? No matter what your business is, write this stuff down. Number 1 is your network. And number 2 is marketing. And I'm going to teach you how the 2 of them go hand in hand today and how you can make millions of dollars from both of them. And it's been a recurring theme if you've paid attention to the speakers up here. A lot of them talk about who they associate with and how they've been able to build their business. I know Kent yesterday was saying you're supposed to send out 6,000 mailers, but a lot of people will only send 60, right? Because we have this fear. So I'm going to help you get over that fear today, and I'm going to teach you the practical steps that you can use to actually be able to make those 100 offers on Monday. So first thing, we're going to talk about your network. You ever heard the saying, your net worth is in your network? Raise your hand. Right? For those of you who haven't, I just said it, so you should everybody have raised their hand. But anyway, not judging. It's a little slow today. So your network is your net worth. You become who you hang around with. So I hang around people like Ed Mylett and Kent Clothier because you know what? I'm just hoping some of that luck rubs off on me. In the meantime, I'm hoping some of my bad luck doesn't run off on them. You know what I mean? And so when you build a network, in your case, if you're selling wholesale properties, you would want to build a network of people that buy when you get a property, right? You want to have somebody to flip the contracts through. I think most of you are probably scared that if you go put earnest money down on a house, or if you go put some kind of deposit down on a contract, you're scared you're not going to have the network on the back end to flip it. If that's you, raise your hand so that I know that I'm kind of on the right track here. A few of you, that's it? A few of you? Okay, that's cool. So I'm going to teach you how to build that network up using social media, Facebook specifically today. Okay, I've made millions of dollars, over $11 million in the last 3 years from Facebook alone, following this exact process that I'm going to share with you. First thing that you've got to do is you've got to become the attractive character. Okay, people, when they find out who you are, you go by their house, you knock on the door, they call you back from some mailer that you send out, they click on an ad, whatever it is, when they find out who you are, they go to your Facebook page. Facebook is the new yellow pages. It's where we look and research on people that we're doing business with. If we go to your page and you're bitching about everything that's going on with politics, if you're constantly negative, if you're sharing fake news or some kind of viral kitty videos, it's going to give people a bad impression of you. You have to think of your Facebook page the same way that you would think of yourself if you were at a party. Right? If I'm going to go to a party with the Kent Clothiers and the Ed Myletts and everybody else, I'm not going to show up wearing baggy pants around my ankles, you know what I mean? I'm not going to show up with, wearing like gold teeth in my freaking mouth and all that stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show up wearing a suit and tie, and I'm going to try to blend in and be that attractive character that they want to talk to. If I'm the dude sitting back there that doesn't look like everybody else, I'm going to be the guy that's off being his own little one-man island at the party, right? Well, the same thing's with Facebook. When people go online and they search your name, they find your Facebook page, or they go to Facebook and they type your name in, you want to be that attractive character. You want to be the person that has a nice profile picture, that has a bio that says, I create opportunities for people to be able to buy and sell houses. You want to have a website there. You want to have pictures of your family, maybe you in front of some houses, that when somebody finds out you're some stranger on the internet, that they're putting their life in your hands, right? You own the house, or they own a house that they're about to take a risk to sell to you or whatever. They want to know that you're a legit person, so you need to be putting attractive character content out on your personal Facebook page. My recommendation is to post at least twice a day. And a lot of you are saying, sounds like a lot of work. Really? This for like 5 minutes for two times a day? Come on, it's not that much work. 5-10 minutes max. Here's how you have it. It's called the E3 method. Here's how you come up with content to post on Facebook. We're looking to be the attractive character, so we're going to create content that attracts, right? So if we're going to be this attractive character, they look us up. We don't want to have a bunch of political stuff. We don't want to have a bunch of like childish stuff on there. We don't want to have a bunch of stirring stuff up. We want to be this attractive character. The way that you create content is called the E3 method. The first E stands for experience. We have an experience, right? So every day we experience stuff. Like right now, one of the experiences I'm going through is I have an investment property that I bought that also happens to have a blown up meth lab behind it. I shit you not. I walked in the house just the other day thinking it was empty. There was a dude on the couch shooting up, right? And I've obviously the drug guy here. I've seen some weird shit in my life. This took the cake. Especially you like show up in a Rolls Royce and you open the front door in a nice neighborhood of what's supposed to be an abandoned house, and there's squatters in there shooting up, smoking meth, and scratching. I don't know what this dude on the right over here was doing. He was just some typical meth head shit, I assume, right? And so we call the cops out there, and the cops say, oh, we're here at this house at least 6 times a week. We've had to release pull 5 or 6 dead bodies out of here from overdoses. We can't remove these people. You're going to have to go through the court system. Alrighty. Well, so for me, instead of, going, well, damn it, I'm such a victim. I thought I was going to make all this money on this house, and now we're being delayed, and my construction crew's not working, and if they pick up another job in between the time we get these people out of here, it could be even delayed further. Instead of me playing a victim, I went, well, this is an experience that Facebook would enjoy, right? And so I turned what would be a mess into a message. And so what we did was we went out and shot a little quick reality show about the cops going in there, and we recorded the cops going into the house and all this other stuff and made the best out of that mess. So you have an experience. So a lot of us just have regular experiences that we don't think nothing of, but especially in the real estate world, people love our shit. Like almost every damn show on TV is something to do with real estate these days, right? They got people flipping houses, cats flipping houses, houses flipping houses, chairs flipping houses, houses flipping chairs. They've got all these different, fix or flop, flop or flicks, find and flip. Like there's all these different things out there. So it's obviously interesting or they wouldn't be putting out that much content around it. So when you go to a house that has a messed up AC and you're having this experience, like, well, here's the thing. This AC may just seem this way, but there's this problem and that. And sharing that with your audience so that when people go look at you, they're like, oh, well, this person's an expert because they're talking about the experiences that they have on a regular basis. The next thing is extract the lesson. So you have the experience, then you're going to extract the lesson. So that's the second E. It's E3 if you hadn't figured it out yet. It's 3 things that start with E. So the second one is extract the lesson. So when we have an experience, we don't want to just bitch about our experience. So I bought a house with a bunch of meth heads in it today. Yay me, right? That's not going to be the post that I make. It's going to be, here's what I learned from this. So I have this house, and it turns out the cops are really limited to the things that we should do and blah, blah, blah. And I just go on and share the experience, extract the lesson and share the lesson that I had from the experience. The third part is to educate them. Okay, so I have this experience. Here's the lesson I pull from it. Here's what I learned. Here's what you can do to avoid this same thing. Okay, so no matter what things get thrown your way in life and in business, start now thinking about how you can spin this shit into content. Because people, A, they like to hear about your problems. B, they like to know about how you solved the problem and overcame, because most people are swimming in problems that they refuse to solve anyway. Wouldn't you admit that? Right? And so when they see you overcoming these problems, not only are you becoming that attractive character to the right people, but also they're seeing you overcome your struggles, which hopefully inspires them to want to overcome some of theirs as well, right? And so you might say, okay, but I can't just constantly be talking about going out to houses. That would get boring, right? If you're constantly saying, hey, here's another house. Hey, here's what I learned from this house. Here's the AC, the plumbing. After a while, your page might get boring. And like Billie Jean said, who's a good friend of mine, people are on social media to be entertained, right? They're on social media to be entertained. So you got to make sure that you entertain them. The way that the media has worked since the dawn of time is something that I call the M3 method. Write that down. M3 method. It stands for the media marketing method. It's the 80-20 rule of content and advertising. Now, if you think about it, newspapers, they say that they were the original media outlets. As a matter of fact, if you look back into the Egyptian rice paper that they had back in the day that they wrote on, there's actually advertisements and stuff back in those papers too. So this method that I'm about to share with you, which is real simple, it'll make it real easy for you, because I find that's the fastest way to get results for somebody is if you make it simple so they can understand it, not be scared of the consequences and take action, right? But so newspapers, you might have a page on an article and another page with an article on it and then an advertisement, right? We would say that about 80% of a newspaper is content, 20% is advertisements. If you listen to the radio, you might have 20 minutes of music and 3 to 5 minutes worth of commercials, right? So we'll call that the 80-20, right? So we don't get all technical on the math, just enjoy the philosophy here. The next thing is TV. You get about 7 to 13 minutes worth of your favorite show that you're entertained watching, and then they make you watch advertisements for 3 or 4 minutes. Unless it's football, you get 30 seconds of the game and 7 minutes of commercials for Ford trucks if you live in Texas. And so the same thing works with TV. The same thing works for a movie, right? The first little part before you sit down to watch a movie, there's commercials, and then you watch the movie, right? Well, the same thing happens on Google. If you type in a word, the first 2 or 3 things that pop up are advertisements, about 20% of the page. The other 80% of the page is obviously organic results of things that can show up for you. Facebook's the same way. You're scrolling through the news feed, 4 or 5 posts that are of your friends and pages you follow. Shortly after there, you'll see an advertisement. Instagram's the same. Twitter's the same. So if we know this works for multi-hundred-billion-dollar companies that have spent massive amount of monies on case studies and private studies and all this stuff to see what's the best blend of commercials versus content for their audience. If we know that's worked since the dawn of time when the Egyptians were writing rice paper newspapers, then why wouldn't we just put that into play here? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And if somebody's already mastered something, all we got to do is model the masters. So on your Facebook page, Instagram, whatever social media, but we'll stick to Facebook for this lesson, it's going to be 80% for them, 20% about your business. Does that make sense to you guys? 80%. So when I say them, the first thing that you got to do is figure out who them is, right? So what I do is I have people walk through what I call the perfect customer scenario. So I'm also a wholesaler, right? We have about $6 million on the ground right now in real estate that we're flipping. Not wholesale, sorry, I flip. I buy from wholesalers. And so in my world, real estate is obviously something that I'm doing this stuff on as well. And so the reason why I say that is when I'm talking and I want people to send me real estate deals, right? I want them to send me DMs and emails with real estate deals that I can look at to consistently buy more. But if I'm talking about that all the time on Facebook, it's not that entertaining. I'm going to get people to, it's going to wear off, right? After a while, they're going to be like, if I have a real estate deal, I'm going to Stewman's page, but that's all he really ever talks about, so I don't want to go there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these E3 experiences that I extract these lessons from and educate my audience on a regular basis. Could be something I do with my kids. Could be me something setting the example. Could be a picture of me with my car. Could be something talking about that's going on at work. And then about every 5th or 6th post, I'm going to mention what I do for a living, whether I'm selling software or whatever the case. That method right there, just on my personal page, has made me millions of dollars because I paired the advertising piece to it. You see, when you run an ad, and I guarantee you there's at least 50% of the room that's done this, probably more. I'll get you guys to raise your hand in a second. But when you first saw Kent's ads in your newsfeed, right, when he was back there and on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, you couldn't escape the guy. What's the first thing you do? You go look at his business page, and then you go find his personal page on Facebook, right? Raise your hand if you do that. When you see ads, you look up the person, and then you decide to follow that person instead of the page because you know the page with the advertisement is some business thing. That's all they're going to do is just send you more ads. But you know, if you follow the person, you might get the good content, right? So when I'm running ads, I have that end game in mind. So I know that when I'm running ads from my Hardcore Closer page or my Break Free Academy page, people are going to figure out that I'm the wizard behind the curtain, and they're going to go over there and they're going to look at my personal page. I have like 50,000 followers on my personal profile on Facebook because of this. People see our ad, and then they want to get connected to the person, not the business, right? Well, so I know that if they're seeing my ads, I'm getting fresh eyes, and if they're following me, they're becoming familiar with me. And wouldn't you agree that most people buy from people they know, like, and trust, right? So first, we've got to get their attention. There's 4 steps to influence, and that's what we're doing. We're marketing and advertising to be able to influence people that when we say, I need properties or I have properties for sale, they stick their hand up and say, tell me about it. That's really what we're doing here. And that's how you're going to be able to make your 100 offers on Monday as well, because you're going to be building your network, and now you know the proper way to advertise it. But think about this. When you make these posts on Facebook, so you're running your advertisement and you're making these posts on Facebook, you have to think about the daily experiences and hooks that you can have to make people want to go to your Facebook channel on a regular basis. Think about the Facebook app inside of your phone as if it's a cable box, right? Most of us have cable TV, and if we go turn it on, there's like 500 channels, maybe 1,000, right? I mean, there's a shitload of channels, and we watch like the same 5. For me, it's like ESPN, Comedy Central, CNBC. Like, I only have like maybe 5 channels out of those thousands that are available to me that I check every day. Matter of fact, they're on my favorites when I turn on my TV. I just have a quick favorites menu that allows me to go through the channels that I actually care about. Well, that's what people are doing on social media too, and you want your channel, your social media profile, to be the channel that when they turn on the TV that they want to go to, when they log into the phone that they want to go to. You want them saying, hey, I wonder what Ryan Stewman's posted about today. His stuff's entertaining. I wonder what he's got into today. His stuff usually makes me laugh. I wonder what he's talking about today. And so what you're doing is you're getting them the eyes on your channel. So the first step, there's 4 steps to influence, and it starts like people see your ad, they come to your profile, and then they're curious. So the first thing we've got to do is get their attention. That's where advertising comes in. We've got to get their attention. We've got to get in front of new people constantly. The day you stop getting in front of new people, your pipeline is dying immediately. The day that you stop getting in front of new people, your pipeline is dying. We have to have a constant lead of new eyes because some people end up not liking you. Some people may never buy. We call those people kangaroos because their arms are short and they can't reach in their back pocket where their wallet is, but they're just long enough to put all your free shit in their pouch. You know what I'm saying, right? Fucking kangaroos. So we even have people in our sales talk group. I run the largest sales group on Facebook, and we'll have people say something like, listen, I'm a kangaroo, but I'm trying not to be. Can you guys help me with this stuff? So it's pretty funny. But so the key is to get their attention. That's what marketing does, right? You're paying advertisements to get people to find out who you are, to get their attention. The next thing we have to do is pique their interest. Okay, first they got to we've got to get their attention, they've got to see us, and then we've got to hook them, right? It's easy to see a video, they click on it, and it's blah, 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 blah. This is bullshit. It didn't do us any good. They weren't interested in it, right? So we wasted our attempt to get their attention. So we've got to pique their interest. So first we get their attention, then we pique their interest. Here's where most people fail. Step number 3 is a bitch. Then they get to judge us. Most people hate that. People say all the time, Stewman, you have trolls all over your ads and your posts. How do you deal with that? I don't fucking care. They actually help you out. People bitching about me, going back and forth on comments and stuff like that. I'm just showing more and more of their friends who I am. That's free publicity for me, and I'm 100% okay with that. I don't ever delete troll comments or anything because I want you to judge me, because there's 2 things that I know, and some of you are thinking this right now in this room. There's 2 types of people. There's people that latch onto you immediately, like, dude, I really like that guy. And then there's the other people who go, fuck him, he has funny hair and it's kind of douchey, you know? And I'm okay with either one of them. And usually after about 6 months of me advertising and following up and being on my email list and everything else, you go, you know, in the beginning I thought that guy was really douchey, but he does have a point. Right? So I let them judge me in the beginning. I welcome it, even if they judge negatively, and I'm not going to argue with them or anything else, but I'm going to push past that judgment to where I get them on the positive side of judgment. They're thinking, man, this guy knows his stuff. Man, this guy's got a rough voice and he's not that good looking, but damn if he doesn't know marketing, right? Like I want them to be able to have that emotion, whether they really like me or they really hate me. And if they really hate me, most of the time I'll convert them if they just give me enough time anyway. So you got to be willing to let people judge you. So you get their attention, pique their interest, let them judge you. A lot of people, as soon as they get their first negative comment, which people on the internet are assholes, wouldn't you agree with that? Let me tell you how big people on the internet or assholes are. There was an artificial intelligence Twitter account set up, like a Watson with IBM, and they set up a Twitter account. And everybody that tweeted to this account, that's how it learned. It machine learned through what people were saying through Twitter. Within 3 days, it was racist, xenophobic, and was calling people retards. Like people on the internet are assholes, right? So we can't escape that. We just have to be able to pass through that judgment and not let it concern us. So what someone says you have a funny haircut, right? So what someone says this. Like I've had people talk about my kids and everything else, but it doesn't affect me because at one point, hopefully I can change them, right? Hopefully I can show them that there's a better mindset than that, because I understand they have a scarcity mindset and they see me over here living in abundance. I'd be jealous too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm jealous of Ed. I've been to that house in Coeur d'Alene. It's beautiful. The first time I walked in there, I went, well, I didn't realize my penis was this tiny, but apparently Ed's is very fucking large. And I swear I wasn't the only man there that thought that too. It's like, well, as a matter of fact, Brad Lee told me to prepare myself. So, but back to this, letting people judge you is a good thing. Just let them judge you. It's no sweat off of you either way. Some will, some won't, so what? But don't get involved in the negative comments, but push past that judgment, because the 4th level is influence. Like right now, I can make a post on my Facebook. My average post on Facebook is worth $1,500. I'm going to make $1,500 every single post I make. Even the ones that I don't make sales from still lead up to the engagement on the ones that I make sales from. So we have assigned our value because we've done the math. Not me, I'm not smart enough, but my team, to know that each of my Facebook posts are worth about $1,500. So it's very beneficial to me to post 5, 6, 7 times a day, right? In my groups and on my page and everything else. Well, if I recommend something to my audience, I've already got their attention. I've piqued their interest and kept it. I've let them judge me. And so if I have something to offer, I have influence over my audience to where I can say, hey, buy Kent software. And the audience goes, hey, man, you know what? If Stewman says it's good, it must be good, because he always tells it how it is. And they trust me because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And I've gained that influence over them to say, hey, here's what I discovered. Here's how it will help you. Now, you might say, okay, so how's this help me with my 100 offers on Monday? Here's what you're going to do. You're going to make a Dream 25 list. 25 places you're going to go to get buyers. Now, making the offers is up to you. That's easy. You go to Craigslist or Zillow, right? You just go find houses that are on the MLS, and you offer those fuckers a lot less than they're listed for, right? We call it having triple Ds in my business, right? We look for people who are deadbeats, behind in foreclosure, right, that owe taxes and things like that. We look for people who are getting divorced, and we look for people who are dead. Matter of fact, the 3 houses I have right now are all because of dead people. So one of the places I can go to get business if I'm looking for dead people would be what? Thank you. What'd you say? Say that louder. Probate, yes. Hey, what's up, man? Yes, it's a probate lawyer. And so I go on Facebook and LinkedIn and connecting to guys that are probate lawyers around Dallas, Texas, because that's where I'm buying. And I simply say, hey, when you have a sticky situation to where all the heirs are arguing and you've exhausted all of your time into the program and you're done with it, hit me up, I'll buy the real estate. Go through a few of those people, and the next thing you know, they're in your back pocket. They're feeding you houses. We did $8 million, I think, in real estate transactions last year. I do this part-time, but we did $8 million in real estate flips last year. I never ran a single ad for any of this. I did it all from my network. About every 6th or 7th post, every couple of days, I would say, by the way, if you know anybody who is in a divorce, the family death, or is behind on their payment that wants to sell their house, just slide in my DM, because I know my perfect customer is probably not going to put, my mom doesn't ever pay her fucking bills on time. Can you help her out, right? So slide in my DM. We can keep it confidential, and I've got tons of leads from that. Matter of fact, I'd like to connect with some of you in here who have houses or who have buyers, because I can put us together, because I've got a whole bunch of people that I've helped make money. I've had over 16,000 personal clients at this point. A lot of them invest in real estate and stuff like that on the side. So back to the story here. Probate attorneys. So the next thing would be Facebook groups. So what are some real estate Facebook groups? There's wholesaling groups on Facebook. There's local garage sales. If somebody's having a garage sale, what are they about to do? They're most likely about to move. So why wouldn't you be in a garage sale group? Why wouldn't you be in real estate groups with other agents? Now, I understand you say, well, I'm a wholesaler and they're an agent and they're fighting for their 3%. You know, no offense to some of y'all are agents, but most of those fucking people suck. I get into negotiating with the average agent and I will fucking run that deal. You know what I mean? I love it. Oh, you're a rookie? This is your first deal? You're about to get mauled. I'm about to hardcore close your ass. Feel bad for your clients. And so that's the thing, right? Is like you start looking up 25 places that you can go to get business. So Facebook groups, probate attorneys, business attorneys, right? Divorce attorneys, because if somebody's getting a divorce, there's oftentimes a house involved. The trustees, like I have a few friends in my network, because your net worth is in your network, that happen to work in that have friends that happen to run the REO department for Bank of America and Wells Fargo. So now I'm weaseling my way through there too. Hey man, when you guys got houses that you don't want to take to the auction and you just want to get rid of them, hit me up. When you guys got short sales that fall through, send me the list. I'll buy them. I'm working my way through the network. So REOs, right? People that run small credit union banks have REOs as well, right? There's lots of banks in our area that are small banks that do loans for people in the community that people get foreclosed on, right? So you don't have to go to Bank of America or Wells Fargo. You might go to San Diego's local credit union or whatever the case may be. LinkedIn, there's tons of people that you can connect with on LinkedIn that are either already wholesalers. And here's the way that I look at this. You say, well, if I'm a wholesaler and somebody else is a wholesaler, well, if they're trying to move the property and they can't, and you have somebody that can buy the property, there's still some way that you guys can JV. I always look at it as like, how can we all win? Instead of us competing against each other, which insinuates in order for you to win, I have to lose if we're competing, right? Or for me to win, you have to lose, right? But that doesn't have to be the case. I look for how we can collaborate, right? Instead of competing against people, it's like, hey, how can we all win? How can we get in this instead of you win and me lose? How can we just both win? So I know this guy who's going to buy the house. So you start connecting with people on LinkedIn as well. Join some private masterminds. You know, this is a good one to be a part of with Kent. I have one as well. There's guys like Frank Kern that have them. But invest dollars to be somewhere. Don't just show up to a free mastermind. Here's why. Because if nobody's paid to be there, you're going to be in a damn room full of kangaroos. You know what I mean? You're going to be in a room full of kangaroos because nobody paid to be there. When someone has 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, I even have personal clients that pay $50,000 a year to be in a room, they're invested. And it also allows you to know that everybody in the room had that expendable money, which means they have to have some sort of success to be in that room, right? So you can try to go in the free line and get into part of some free group or whatever, some free mastermind that your buddies or somebody's putting together. And if it's free, there's always a sales pitch attached to it. It's no different than a timeshare, right? If it's free, there's always a sales pitch attached to it. And instead, go out there and invest in yourself and put yourself in a group. And so what I do in my business is I sell to business owners. My primary business is Break Free Academy. And so I sell to entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, and business owners who want to be able to use marketing and sales and mindset to go to the next level. So I look at what kind of masterminds have those people in them. You know, Ed Mylett, I'm a member of his Arete group. and him and Andy Frisella have it. And I guarantee I paid 60 grand or 50 grand to be a part of it. I probably made $200,000 from being a part of it because that is 75 people who are my ideal customer. So, being a part of the right networks as well, not looking at it as, can I learn from this leader, but looking at it as, if I learn from the leader, it's a bonus, but this leader's got the people that I need to sell to. So you're going to make a list of 25 places similar to that you can find leads for. So if you write down all these places, you get on the phone Monday, you know who you're calling. You're calling probate attorneys. So you're making 100 offers, but you're also building your network at the same time. You're connecting with these people. Every time you have a conversation with a wholesaler, a realtor, a seller, anybody, you should be asking them to connect with you on Facebook. Hey, by the way, send me a Facebook request. Or even better, you should be sending them a Facebook request. And I know a lot of people say this. They say, why would I want to do that? So that you can influence them. They might have a referral for you. They might know somebody else. Birds of a feather flock together. If you didn't pay your bills, chances are neither did your friends, right? They can be like, while they're all bitching, buying Starbucks coffee and not paying their mortgage payment one morning, they might say, well, you know what? I hooked up with Ryan and he bailed me out as well. And boom, you're getting referrals from, but out of sight, out of mind. If you're not constantly in front of them, influencing them on social media, they won't think about you. You know what I mean? Like one time I took a month off from social media because I was kicked off, but that's a different story. And so I took a month off of social media, and within like 2 weeks, people forgot that I even existed because I'm not constantly there for them anymore. First 2 weeks, everybody's, where you at, where you at, where you at, where you at? After 2 weeks, it's, shit, I'm not around anymore. Your favorite radio station goes off the air. After a few days, you just stop going to that channel. Right? Your favorite TV show goes off the air, you find something else to fill that time slot. Right? So we've got to constantly stay in front of them. And if we're connected to people, here's the ultimate referral when somebody tags you in somebody else's Facebook comments. Hey, who do you know that sells houses? Hey, my mother is sick and we need to sell her house. And you're getting tagged in those comments. Those are the best leads that you can get. That is the modern day equivalent of meet my friend Kent. He's ready to go. I've already closed him. Take it. But a lot of people, they get tagged in comments, and here's what they do. Oh, awesome. Just reach out if you have any questions. Fuck that. That's not the hardcore closer way of doing anything. Right? What you do is you like that. Somebody tags you in a comment. You like it, tell that person thanks, and slide in the person they tagg's direct message. Reply to it. Say, hey, thanks for tagging me in the comments. Hey, so-and-so John Smith, check your DMs because I'm going to send you a private message. And so while everybody else just puts a comment, replies, and says, thanks, let me know if you need anything, you're going to take aggressive action to go in their DM and say, hey, Bob just tagged you in that post. I can definitely help you. You want to tell me a little bit about your situation? Right? You're going to take it to them because people forget, right? They might have seen you get tagged on that post. That post happened yesterday, out of sight, out of mind. It's not back in the news feed anymore, but if you're in their DM, that's where the money's at. Each and every month, I make over $100,000 just by replying to messages in my DM. I'm more active on Facebook Messenger than I am in my email. Why? Because if somebody's hitting me up on Facebook Messenger, they're ready right then and there. If somebody's hitting me up on email, it's almost like sit it and forget it, right? It's like I'll send this email and I'm going to check my email later. But when you're direct message conversating with someone, you're having that heat of the moment right there on an instant platform. Most of you don't know this, but you can go to messenger.com and then there's no more Facebook. You're just on the Messenger platform. So there's no distractions, no news feed, no nothing. So I leave it up next to my email during the day and I'm checking my direct messages in my email at the same pace, but I get a lot more direct messages. Matter of fact, Facebook just released a press release on Friday saying that they are merging Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp Messenger all into one place. So all three of your messages from those social medias will go to one Messenger channel, which will be messenger.com. They've been doing that with the fan pages for a while. I can answer my Instagram DMs from my Facebook business page, and so now they're just about to merge all of it. That's how important Messenger is. Do you realize there's over 1 billion people between those three channels using that platform? Over 1 billion people. Instagram is a huge site. It's the fastest site to ever hit 1 billion. It'll be even faster to hit 2 billion. The things that I'm telling you about up here aren't just for Facebook. We use that for today's training, but they aren't just for Facebook. You know, like some of your people are going to be on Instagram, some of them LinkedIn, but it's a unanimous operating thing. The things that I'm teaching you work no matter what platform. The other thing that I want to share with you guys about really being powerful on social media is being authentic. You know, people like real life stories. You know, that's why we watch reality TV. If you turn on TV, 90% of it is reality. Even Netflix has a shit ton of reality shows now because that's a hot genre, because we like looking at other people's lives and going, well, my shit ain't so bad. Or we like looking at other people's stuff going, you know what, dude, I want to be like that. And so position yourself as the reality show online as well, right? You have experiences that people are interested in, and the things that bore the shit out of you are exciting because you're here to a place like this. You've got stuff going on in your life. Most people don't. Most people don't, and so you get to be that source of entertainment for them. But the last thing is, and I'm almost out of time here, is when you're influencing these people online and you're making your post, and you're going to slide in their DM, there's a process that I like to use called catch. And it's especially if they reach out to you. So what I'm in is, I'm posting on social media to have power, not force. To me, force in sales is cold calls, door knocking, face-to-face, like manual labor, things that you have to do as a salesperson, which work. I'm not here to say they don't work, but they're highly inefficient. Instead, I like to operate from power. And so what are some power moves somebody can do to gain some influence? So for me, instead of just going out there and making cold calls and reaching out to people and wasting their time, I'm going to think about some ways to attract people, because that would be a power move, right? So one of the first things I did, I was talking to Sean about this earlier, one of the first things that I did was I started a podcast. I'm like, you know what would be a power move? Something that would signify me as an expert? I'm just going to start a podcast. I didn't even know what the hell that meant when I did it. I used to set my clock every Wednesday, or the show every Wednesday at noon. So I had to be in my car ready to record on my lunch break every Wednesday at noon, or I would miss my show for the week. That's how high tech I was back then. But I kept taking action towards it, and now our podcasts are listened about 1 million times a month, right? Flash forward just a few years. But that's a power move. Well, here's the thing about power. Power isn't instant. Power is something that's gradual over a period of time that all of a sudden you look back and you go, wow, that's very powerful where I've gone to, right? Power doesn't happen overnight. So you start these things, these power moves, you get yourself a podcast. Did you know that you can go to helpareporter.com and get free PR? Free PR. Every day they will send you an email of news stations like Forbes, Entrepreneur, Huffington Post, TheStreet.com. I've been featured in all of them for free, and they say, hey, do you know anybody who knows about this? Every day they send you an email. All you got to do is reply to the email with the quote, and they put you in publications. I've been in hundreds because of it. Matter of fact, I make it a point, I don't do this so much anymore because I have a team, but for 3 years, when I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, I would go from 5:30 to 6:30, and I would reply to Haro questionnaires for the day so that I'm getting, 1 or 2 sentences into all these different sources, and I would get picked up by 5 or 10 publications a day. Matter of fact, if you Google my name, there's like 275,000 results, and not because I've written 275,000 articles, but I've been featured in a lot of big publications that get syndicated out to a lot of other, websites that copy and paste the stuff, and that all comes from helpareporterout.com. It may be helpareporter.com. It's Haro. But game change. It sends you emails twice a day. You get free PR. So think about this, right? You're posting on Facebook, and you're sharing an article that came in from Forbes or somewhere like that, some kind of credible publication, which Haro has a lot of that, some kind of credible publication, and you're able to say, hey, look, I was just featured in Forbes. Funny story about this. Here's the experience that I had. Here's the lesson that I learned from it, and here's how you can have the same experience in your life as well. Following that E3 method. Right there with that post, and think about it. Somebody Googles you because they see your ad or because they got tagged in a referral. They go over to your page. You're that attractive character, and you're talking about being featured in some kind of big-ass publication. That's instant authority, instant influence for the people that are looking at you. So when you go Monday and you make 100 offers because you decided not to lie to Kent and you changed your perspective on that, and you make 100 offers and those people are going to your Facebook page. Matter of fact, you should invite them to look at it. You should leave the link to it. Look me up on social media, so that they go there, they see that you're the attractive character, they see you're not some weirdo, they see that you don't have a bunch of 1-star ratings because you ripped a bunch of people off, and all of a sudden they say, hey, you know what, I think this guy's legit, I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he can fix our situation. Does it make sense, everybody? So I got about 3 minutes left. Is there one question anybody's got in the audience? Yes, or you? Good question. So we use ClickFunnels. It's a good product. I got a better recommendation for you guys. I like Russell Brunson. He's a friend of mine. I've been in his mastermind. So have you. And I see your ads pretty often. Say Henry, right? Kaminsky? No? Oh, I thought you were somebody else. So anyway, what I use, my bad, what I use is something called phone sites. Phonesites.com. How many people in the audience would say they really struggle with technology? Like you've tried ClickFunnels or Lead Pages, it's kind of a pain in the ass. It's okay to admit that. I don't really get it either. I hire people to do it, which can be expensive as well. But I saw that problem, and we created something called Phonesites.com. If you have zero tech skills, like if you can't make a website, can't set up a social media profile or any of that stuff, you can go to Phonesites.com, and you can do all that in about 10 minutes. You can create a landing page. So let me tell you a story real quick. Again, I like ClickFunnels. We use it, right? But I'm an internet marketer. You guys really aren't internet marketers. You're wholesalers looking for real estate deals, right? You can market on the internet, but that's not your quote-unquote industry that you're in. You're in real estate, okay? So for me, ClickFunnels or Lead Pages or any of that stuff's kind of like MySpace. Back in the day when you go to a MySpace profile, you click on somebody's profile, a song starts playing, your mouse turns into like a unicorn that shits glitter everywhere, Nickelback's in the background, This is how you remind me, right? And people had to learn all this different code shit to make that work, right? So when you go on MySpace, you had to learn how to code this, put your top 9 up, get your song going, change your background, put the space thing in the background and all this shit. It became a pain in the ass. Facebook came out, you didn't have to do none of that, and everybody fucking left. They went, wow, this is a lot simpler. Well, when you go to funnels these days, you see countdown timers and pop-up widgets and social proof icons on the bottom. The fucking customer doesn't care about that stuff. You know who cares about that stuff? Internet marketers. And that's okay. If you're an internet marketer, you're like, look at my internet marketing package, right? But the average person just wants a fucking problem solved. If you go and look at Agora does like $1 billion a year or some shit in sales. They have the shittiest funnels on the fucking internet, but they convert higher than anybody else's. Why? Because you know what sells? Words. Words sell. The way that you put the words on the page doesn't matter. The video, the flashiness. Agora has proved that as long as you have the right message, people will buy. And if we know that keeping it simple sells, I know a lot of people say keep it simple stupid because of the military, but I like to say keeping it simple sells. And so if we know that, then it's our job to make our funnel really simple. This is the best way to write an offer, and so many people don't teach it this way, but this is the best way to write an offer on a web page is how to get X without having to do Y. X represents what they want, Y represents what they don't want. How to sell your house fast and for top dollar without the haggle of leaving it on the market for 6 months and signing up with an agent. That's how to get exactly what they want without what they don't want. How to sell your house fast and for top dollar without having to come out of your pocket tens of thousands of dollars into commissions for an agent who didn't work. That's something they want, something they don't want. You put an offer like that on a phone site, it keeps it simple. It gives them no other options but to opt in. And listen, if you're a tech person, we put all sorts of cheat codes in there. But the idea is speed of implementation. And with phone sites, you can make it from your mobile phone or a desktop in about 5 to 10 minutes. And if you run traffic to them, they convert really well. It's only $47 a month. And it's an absolute game changer. Think about, you go up, you sign a deal on a wholesale, you take a picture of it, you build a phone site around that picture in about 10 minutes, post it on social media following the M3 method. The next thing you know, you got people coming in and filling out a form that want to look and possibly buy that potential wholesale house that you have, right? But what's even better is if you keep continuing that process, you'll eventually build a list of people that every time you got a house, you can just send them an email or a text message saying, hey, new house alert, or whatever the case may be. And I think phone sites, as far as my research and what we've done, is the fastest, easiest way to make all that happen. So with that being said, I'm about 30 seconds over. I told Ken I would try to keep it as short as possible since we went over a little bit. Thank you guys very much. I only asked one thing before you clap. Who in here is going to make their 100 offers on Monday now? Come on, that's what I'm talking about. All right, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you, everybody.